Good evening, Doug here, and just like many others, I have been cutting my teeth on the Destiny beta. Originally I won a code via an IGN competition, but for some reason the code would not work and I thought I would have had to go without it, which was fine, but a friend had a spare code and asked me if I wanted it, to which I responded, hell yes. So I entered the code, hit that share button, installed the game, watched a CG cinematic and then an in-game cinematic, said hello to Dinklage, and away I went.
For you to die again. We have to move.
Now the first thing I do in any game is get a feel for the controls and see what each button does. I unfortunately missed the alpha, so this was my very first experience with the game, and as much as it surprised me, the jump feels very Halo-like. Feeling like you're playing Halo on a PlayStation console with a DualShock controller was new, weird, but awesome. After I hop across a couple of cars here, I decide to test the D-pad out, to which your character uses a gesture such as sit, point, dance, or bow. And I'm sure the full game will have more gestures to choose from, and I even saw some players later using different ones, so I'm sure there's going to be all kind of fun to be had with that later. Now for those wondering, in the very beginning of the game you get to choose your class and your appearance, and you get to choose between Warlock, Hunter and Titan. And fitting with the playstyle that I prefer in shooters, I decided to go with the Titan, and I made a character that looked like Manhattan from Watchmen, but with a painted lion face, and it worked. Now the area that I'm beginning in is the same area that was first shown at Sony's E3 conference of 2013, and even though I had seen it before, I still found myself looking at everything. I was fully taken in with the world from the get-go. But of course I got distracted like I normally do in these kind of games, by say the ripples in the water when you jump. Little tiny corners you can wedge yourself into. I even died in this area. Dying in the first area with no enemies or any kind of platforming required was just typical, but I respawned and continued on my way.
Okay, I need to find you a weapon before the Fallen find us.
Now the game does a bit of graphical showcasing here, specifically towards its lighting effects, and while I myself have not much that experience with playing betas, and I know it's supposed to be a bit of a downgrade to what the final game will represent, I was still pretty impressed with what I saw. I was playing this on the PlayStation 4, and I was liking some of the things I saw, but except for that, that's the very cliche, was that the enemy? But after a while I do a bit more dancing, Dinklage turns the lights on and hands me my first weapon, and then I have my very first taste of combat.
I hope you know how to use that thing.
The first rounds of combat were nothing special, but it did set a solid yet small foundation on what I should be expecting. The headshots are well shown and rewarded, and the melee feels really impactful. The recoil of the weapon was fine, and it felt responsive with my button presses. A hop, skip and a jump later though, and a shotgun is in my grasp, and it feels great. At first I was hesitant with the numbers appearing off enemies, but seeing the individual numbers from the shotgun as each part of the scatter hits the enemy, it's really cool, and it truly packs a punch, evident by the kickback of each shot. Further on we go outside and we get a chance to ride around on our very own hover bike, and I pray that we are given an Endor-like area. please Bungie, you cannot have speed bike-like vehicles without giving us the opportunity to relive Return of the Jedi. What I feel a lot of publications don't really talk about in their previews is how good a game is with slow pans, and I can safely say that beta alone proved that we're in for some great slow pans. This one was ruined though by the water not reacting to my bullet, which was a shame. After gaining a level, obtaining an energy-like grenade and testing it out on the area boss, I commandeer a spacecraft and make my way to the tower. The tower is a hub or nexus where the player can interact with up to 16 players, including themselves. Here they can find their typical vending outlets, they can purchase upgrades, check their mail, obtain missions and bounties, and of course they can just participate in general tomfoolery. I'm sure we will be spending a lot of time here throughout the actual game, and Bungie has done well with just the view alone. I can't wait really to spend more time here with random players or actually people from my friends list, just having a good time, meeting up and then going out on missions together. It's going to be a really good experience and I can't wait for it.
Unless the commander gives the order. Traveler's light, Guardian.
After I was done dancing for anyone who would watch, I set out to my first story mission, but straight away was thrown into a public event. And as a console player primarily, public events are really new to me. But what happened was myself and 2 other random players were given a mission sporadically to clear 3 drill bits. I'm not sure if you can decline them or just not participate. I didn't attempt that, I went straight into it. And once victorious, I did a dance. Later on I met up with a friend and we tackled a mission together, and as with most co-op games, the voice chat became essential, and it was here that I came to the conclusion that this beta has sold me. Things that I haven't really touched on in this vid, like the co-op specific areas, the customization, the great loot and looting systems, are examples of what really sells me on this game, and I can see myself becoming addicted. Healthily addicted, of course. Now I did notice some things which annoy me, but they are really minor, such as like enemy bodies not working, and the red fire extinguishers don't explode when shot, which can be ignored, but you know what I mean. But with the atmosphere that this world has created and the potential of co-op both in combat and in the tower, I truly think Destiny should be a game on anyone's radar. I might not play much more of the beta as I don't want too much of the main game spoiled, and I have been ignoring the story for the most part, as I'm really looking forward to starting fresh and allowing myself to be really absorbed into this world, and I hope you do too. So cheers guys and girls, and let me know your thoughts in the comments if you like, and I'll hopefully see you out there.